Okay, again, assalamu alaikum everyone. This is being recorded on March 11th. So, Alhamdulillah, the newest news that came out today is that Musafer now has the multi city option available. For those who may not know what Musafer is, that's basically the platform within Nusuk that allows you to go ahead and book a custom flight. So, inshallah, I'll go ahead and briefly take some time to go over the main things with Musafer, and then we'll go ahead and do a live demonstration on how we can utilize this multi-city feature and some additional updates with the custom flight option that have happened in the last couple of days that may affect those who are doing the custom flight option. Okay. And now, for those of you who are new to our webinars, this is being presented by Rajhi. My name is Noor Javed. I'm working with the Al-Fajr staff here based in the United States, and we're the American representatives for Rajhi. Now, Rajhi has been doing Hajj work for the last 60 years and have been serving the domestic Hajj of Saudi Arabia for that length of time. Since last year, they've been welcoming international Hajj via Nusuk. Last year, alhamdulillah, we had over 7,000 Hajis join us. Over about 1,400 of those were from the United States. Inshallah, we aim to go ahead and provide services to international Hajj again. And this is from last year, where Mr. Bandar Al-Rajhi, the CEO of the company, was receiving the #1 in Hajj Services award by the Ministry of Hajj and Umrah at the Expo earlier this year. So at this point, I think everyone's familiar with our webinars, but if you're not, one of the things that we really value is helping you guys navigate Nusuk. So inshallah, we're here every step of the way. That's why as soon as updates come, we're here with the webinars ready to go ahead and walk you through new updates. And we're going to go ahead and focus on that as we continue. So as far as where should you be in the process, you should be at the point where you are looking at your preferred packages, right? So basically, you should be trying to configure your preferred package. If you are still stuck in any of these first steps, including but not limited to actually doing your Nusuk application, getting verified, selecting a preferred category, or topping up your e-wallet, all these steps, we've got previous webinars that we've done in order to go ahead and help you out with that. They're all uploaded onto our YouTube channel. Here's just an idea of how it looks, but you can go ahead and hop on to Nurul Fajr's YouTube channel if you need help with any of these, inshallah. And if you're still struggling, feel free to reach out to our offices via WhatsApp. That's the best place to communicate with us, and we're more than happy to connect you to one of our volunteer guides who can assist you with getting your package configured or your e-wallet topped up or whatever step you may still need help with. So make sure these are the 4 steps that we're focusing on right now, right? You got to make sure your package is configured. So inshallah, for those of you who are trying to choose a custom flight, we should be able to go ahead and use that multi-city feature tonight and get you all configured up. And you'll be able to go ahead and top up your e-wallet for the full amount, which is step 2. Everyone should have a preferred package selected at this point. And the 4th thing is basically just join our communication channels, whether that be Telegram, WhatsApp, or that automated call list that I think everyone is familiar with at this point, so that we can keep in touch for when selling starts. Okay, so I'm only going to briefly go over this to make sure you guys know which one of the packages are best for the custom flight option, right? If you're trying to do a custom flight because you want to fly from a city where we don't fly out of, right? Or you need to book an international trip with your package, or you're going to be in a different country when Hajj starts, the best options for you are going to be 3 luxury line 1, 2 luxury line 2, and 2 luxury shifting line 1. Basically, every version, we have 3 main packages that we're running out of the United States. And these 3 packages give you the option to have a custom flight via these 3 specific ones, right? The ones that say book through Musafer. So as far as the land part of the package goes, it's the same exact thing as the ones over here. you're going to be going to Valley Al Medina and Makkah Towers, or Swiss and Rifat for the shifting package. You'll be Medina first in the line 1 option, and you'll be Makkah first in the line 2 option. Basically, the main differences with these ones, right? You have a flight leaving either from one of 4 cities, right? Either Washington, D.C., Chicago, New York, or LAX. If for any of the previously mentioned reasons you need to book a custom flight, you would do that through Musafer on the Nusuk portal. Now, one of the things you'll also notice here in the pricing category to keep in mind is that the pricing for the ones that you are booking through Musafer is just going to be the cost of the package without the flight. So this is still including tax and everything. So it'll be a little bit more than what you see when you first log into Nusuk, but it's not including your flight. You'll get that amount once you go ahead and book via Musafer. And then the final thing that I want to definitely make sure I mention in this video is that we've been having a lot of people from the international community, people from Japan, Korea, Australia, who are looking for English-speaking guides and want to be able to go for Hajj this year. I know a lot of these countries have not been serviced with flights from the service provider, and unfortunately, Rajhi is included in that. We don't have flights from those countries, but you are more than welcome, brothers and sisters who may be coming from those countries, to book a flight via Musafer and come on one of these packages. Inshallah, all of our scholars and our guides speak English as their first language. We also have guides who speak multiple languages. Alhamdulillah, amongst all our guides, we're covering Arabic, Urdu, Bangla, Punjabi, Spanish, French. So inshallah, whatever your secondary language or your primary language may be, we should have a guide who speaks it. Alhamdulillah, diverse team. So this is just briefly how it'll look in Nusuk, right? So that's the Medina first package with the custom. And then of course, we've also mentioned to you guys, these suggested gateways. And if you want a business class ticket, the custom option is best for you too. So I'm not going to spend too much time on these, but basically these are the 3 package versions of ours from the United States that will be best for Musafer. Now, what is Musafer, right? Musafer is Nusuk's approved external ticketing system designed to purchase your own customized flight. So this is basically meant it's like booking.com or Google Flights, where you can basically go and choose your own flight in this system, and it's just been embedded within Nusuk. So you'll notice over here, this is just a screenshot from Nusuk that says powered by Al-Mosafer. Al-Mosafer is basically the booking.com of the Middle East. So this embedded system will allow you to choose a custom flight that should accommodate your, the specific needs for certain people. So let's go ahead and now this, I'm sure if you're familiar with these webinars, used to say up until earlier today that there is no multi-city option available in Musafer, round trip flights only. In fact, actually in my hurry to get this presentation to you guys, I forgot to edit this part, but now alhamdulillah, you do have the option to do the multi-city. The Nusuk date disclaimer has also changed, so it's good that we're doing this. Before, you would see here that you can, so let me go step by step. The ministry basically has rules of when you can enter the country and when you can exit the country. Now, if you are flying from any other airline besides Saudi Airlines, the earliest you can arrive in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is June 7th, and the latest you can arrive is June 10th. If you're flying with a KSA airline, right? So like Saudi Airlines, you can come up until the 12th of June. So you get 2 extra days if you're using, for example, Saudi Airlines. But if you're using Qatar Airlines, Turkish Airlines, Jordan Airlines, you have to be there by the 10th. Now, what you'll notice here in terms of exiting the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, it used to be, this is the old screenshot, right? It used to be that the earliest you could leave is the 20th of June, which is still true. And then it would allow you to book something up until July 21st, which correlates to the 15th of Muharram, which is the last possible day for the Hujjaj to leave. This has now been edited in Nusuk and in the Musafer platform, and I will be showing it to you guys live, inshallah. But basically now the way this has been set up is the final day you'll be able to allow to be exit is the final day of your package. So say for example your package ends on June 20th, the last day you could choose to fly out, or the flight you will have to choose to fly out with, is going to be one that leaves on June 20th. If your package ends on the 24th, you'll be able to choose a flight that leaves on the 24th. So, okay. One of the things that still remains the same is the unpredictability with the flight prices, right? So, now whatever price for the flight you see in Nusuk, when you log in and search right now, and we'll look at a couple of different scenarios in a minute, this price is not locked in, right? Because it's, again, it's like Google Flights. If you searched a flight up right now and then you went and searched it 6 hours from now or 3 days from now, it could be that the availability of the flight changes. It could be that the price of the flight changes. So these things are true with Al-Mosafer as well. Just something to keep in mind. Yep. So we'll go ahead. Let's talk about it. So we're going to go through this, inshallah, again in real time, but I want to make sure I cover it right now as well, which is the special considerations when booking through Musafer, right? Make sure you're considering where you're arriving from. If you're doing an international leg, I know there's a lot of brothers and sisters who, are based out of the United States, but they're either going to be in the Middle East or maybe South Asia, like Pakistan or Beirut or Amman, Jordan, basically, will be in those areas of the world before Hajj. If you're there and you leave June 7th, you will arrive in the kingdom on June 7th. However, when we're considering here from the United States, between the distance, like the length of the flight, and the large time zone difference, we basically have to leave either 1 day or up to 2 days before in order to arrive on a specific day. So, for example, if we're trying to arrive by June 7th, if we're on the East Coast, like New York, we'll have to leave June 6th. In some cases, if you're on the West Coast, say LA, you may even have to leave as early as the 5th in order to get there by the 7th. Okay, the length of the layover is the second factor you should consider. Do not, please, brothers and sisters, choose a flight in Musafer with the layover less than 2.5 hours. Honestly, it should be closer to 3.5 hours should be the minimum, because with any sort of delay, you don't want to risk your secondary flight. If you miss your layover, your secondary flight, and you get stuck in Istanbul or Doha or wherever your layover is from, there's really not much we'll be able to do to assist you in making sure you make it for your Hajj. So if the option is between choosing a 10-hour layover and a 1 hour layover, brothers and sisters, please go with the option that's the 10-hour layover. I know it's inconvenient. It's not an ideal scenario, but it's a lot better that you have to sit at the airport and wait than, you miss your Hajj flight and you miss Hajj altogether. The third thing to keep in mind is the arrival city and time in Saudi, right? Because you have to consider hotel check-in. So for example, I know here in the United States, we're used to specific timings for our hotel check-in and check-out. We have to adjust those expectations when we're in the kingdom. So the normal check-in and check-out time in Saudi Arabia will be a check-in of around 4 o'clock, a check-out of around Zohar time, 12 o'clock. Now, during Hajj season, we've got these massive groups that are coming, right? We're one of them. We'll be having several hundred people who are checking out of our Medina hotel on the 10th at the same time. Then on top of it, we're also, gonna push things late, make sure we're getting everyone together. So when we're doing this, the group before us does the same thing. Then they have to get, after they exit those rooms, the hotel staff have to go clean all those rooms before they can give us the keys. My whole point being, this process takes time, and check-in is almost always delayed past that 4 o'clock time frame, right? 4 o'clock is the time they're telling us, but we don't expect to receive rooms during Hajj season normally before 6, sometimes even 7 o'clock. So this is something to consider when you're booking your flight. You don't want to arrive at like 2 a.m. or 7 a.m. in the morning, and your check-in is that night at like 6 7 p.m. and be without a room for 10 to 15 hours. Or if you're fine with that and you're like, I rather maximize my time, just keep in mind you'll be able to put your luggage in the hotel. We can keep it for you in the lobby, or in the luggage storage area, but you won't have access to your room until later that day. um, the other thing to keep in mind, of course, is that if you arrive, say for example, June 7th is your check-in. If you arrive um, June 8th, but at like 1 a.m. or 2 a.m., most of these international flights are set up so that they're like 24 hours from each other. Either you can show up, if you're flying out of Dallas, either you can show up at 1 a.m. on the 7th or 1 a.m. on the 8th. The benefit of arriving at 1 a.m. on the 8th, yes, it may seem like you're losing some time, but at least your hotel room will be ready and you can just go into your room once you arrive at the hotel and, relax and rest before continuing on with your trip. The final thing is that Al-Rajhi will be the one to provide you transportation to and from the traveling airport. Now that we're able to do multi-city, alhamdulillah, it shouldn't be as complicated. But regardless, whenever you take the multi-city option, we'll go ahead and be in constant communication with you. And of course, if you're going with the packages that we've been promoting and, with the custom flights, those are the three that I mentioned earlier in this presentation, which would be 3 luxury line 1, 2 luxury line 2, and 2 shifting line 1. And I'll go ahead and inshallah put that information on the screen again later on. If you go with any of these packages, our team will be in constant communication with you, inshallah, once all this selling part of the Hajj process is done. We'll go ahead and reach out to you and make sure we have your exact flight details so that our team can meet you at the airport and you can join the group from the hotel, and then you'll have your guide with you throughout the whole entire experience, inshallah, before you go ahead and leave to return for the United States or whatever your international destination may be. Now, if you are trying to go ahead and book an international trip, right? If it isn't that you live in Dallas and you want to fly out of Dallas, but you have a scenario where you either have to drop your kids or you want to have a vacation in a different country like Jordan or Pakistan or wherever, the way I again apologize for this, we didn't get a chance to go ahead and edit this slide. The way you would still book it is you would do a round trip ticket from oh sorry, we're now able to go ahead and do custom flights, so please disregard this slide. I'm going to go ahead and show you what I mean. Okay, final thing is if you're looking for a business class ticket, even if you're flying out of one of the 4 cities that we have group flights from, which are again Los Angeles, Chicago, DC, New York, you wouldn't be able to upgrade those group tickets to business. You would have to use the Al-Mosafer portal to go ahead and book a business class ticket. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm gonna pause. Actually, what I'm gonna do is leave our contact info on the screen, including our phone number. That's our WhatsApp, so that you can go ahead and take down that info. In the meanwhile, I'm just gonna pause my screen because I am gonna open up Nusuk. So give me one moment, brothers and sisters. So I'm just logging into my account. And one of the things that I've found to be helpful, by the way, is to go ahead and use incognito mode, especially when trying to book flights via Musafer. So we're going to go ahead and walk through 2 different, or actually 3 different scenarios with Musafer. Give me one moment, please. Sorry, I don't have I had to grab my phone so I can go ahead and get that OTP. But we'll go through 3 different scenarios. We'll go through if you want to book from, say, a city like Dallas, what you would do. And then if you want to do an international trip, what you would do, and then I'll show you what it looks like from like one of the other options from a like shifting option instead of a non-shifting option. So and okay. Sorry, bear with me, brothers and sisters. I'm sure at this point you guys are all familiar with how long that OTP process can take. Okay, and let's go ahead and reshare the screen here. And okay, good. Alhamdulillah, it's sharing properly now. Let's go ahead and start taking a look. Okay, so the first thing you'll notice is I have something in my bag, and it's actually is one of the ones that gives us the option to customize a flight, because I've been playing around with that since multi-city became available. But let's go ahead and do it one more time. So okay, so now, as mentioned, right, luxury line one, it's got three versions, right? There's luxury line one. This is with flights from Chicago and DC. Then we've got two luxury line one, which has got flights from New York. And then we've got three luxury line one. This is the one where you can go ahead and customize your flight. So let's go ahead and gotta give it a second to load. Okay. Go ahead and click that configure package. And let's just go ahead and choose quad occupancy. I'm just doing this to basically make it through. Didn't add any additional services. And let's go ahead and say Bismillah. Okay. So I've been playing around with Dallas, but let's go ahead and use a different city as an example, just so that we can, or actually let's do Dallas, yeah, because that's the one I've been using. So say luxury shifting line one is a Medina first package. So we would do Dallas to Medina, and then Jeddah to Dallas, right? So basically you would fly to Medina, and we're gonna leave on the 6th so that we get there by probably early morning 8th, and then 20th is the day we're departing. And let's go ahead and search for that flight. Okay, so let's take a look at this notice, right? This is the one that I was talking about. If you see now, it doesn't say 15th Muharram in bold. It says you can exit KSA from Zulhijjah 14th, so that's June 20th, until June 20th. Because this package ends on the 20th, the last day you can leave is the 20th. As far as the entrance rules go, it's still the same. The earliest you can get into the country is the 7th, and then the latest is the 10th. Unless you're with the Saudi airline, then it is the 12th. So let's go ahead and take a look. Usually I'll just filter it out, do one stop or less. Um, Filter out by 30,000. That's quite a bit for a flight. 10,000 is actually around where the group flights that we've done for people that Al-Rajhi's done via the four cities is at. So it's a nice place to be at. It is still roughly around 2,800 US dollars, which is a lot, but this is kind of the standard for uh, Hajj flights. Alrighty. So one of the things is, like, for example, 20 hours. I already know that that's way too short because 20 hours means like a 1 hour and change layover. Oh, wait, no, it's good to go. 20 hours, 3 hour layover. That's sufficient. Oh, on the way back, it's 2 hours and 10 minutes, which is cutting it close. Um, yeah, I would call that cut. I would say that that's cutting it close. I wouldn't choose a flight that's that close. I would still want to go for something that's a little bit more to ensure again that we're not missing our secondary flight. So I won't go through too many options, but it's basically looking like either you can do a 20-hour or a 38-hour when it comes with Qatar, unless you're looking to go ahead with a different airline. But most of these flights seem to be Qatar. So I'm just going to choose not a random flight, but let's see here. Okay, so let's take a look at this flight, right? You've got a 7 hour layover and then a 2 hour 10. Yeah, this is short. I just don't want to take too much time on the live call, so I'll just go ahead and choose this. But like I said, this should be at least 2.5 hours. Make sure you're choosing an option that's at least 2.5 hours. The other thing you'll notice is, the time frame of when you're getting there. So this leaves on Thursday the 6th, and you're getting there on the 8th at 3 o'clock in the morning. So technically, you're checking maybe around what 7 o'clock on the night of the 7th. So pretty much half the night you're missing here, but your room will be ready when you get there. So this is gonna end up being a personal decision for everyone whether they rather get there early and have to wait for their room, because basically the way these flights work, either you're arriving 3:10 on the 7th or you're arriving 3:10 on the 8th, right? Just keep in mind the disclaimer I gave as far as check-in times go. But basically you'll be able to select this flight now. And let's give it a second. And you basically have to agree. I'm sorry, trying to get through that page quickly because it has my brother's personal information on there. That's, by the way, brothers and sisters who've been asking about the webinars, that's the reason why they're getting delayed. I have to edit out some personal information before I feel comfortable putting them on the internet. So bear with us on that. Okay. And so on this page, you would be able to go ahead and confirm all your information, including the flight that you've chosen, all of that stuff. And you'll see over here, basically, it's showing you your flight price. Of course, this is subject to change. by the time your package starts, or sorry, by the time selling starts. So one of the things to keep in mind is, this is the total price of your package. This is the amount in your e-wallet, right? This is a test account. I don't have much money in here. Now, normally with the group flights, we tell people just go ahead and put the amount over here in your e-wallet because it's not going to change, because the group flights from the four cities that we've mentioned, those don't change. Those have already been purchased by Al-Rajhi. Now, when you're doing a custom flight, keep in mind that this price can change. So you've got two options. One is to just put the amount over here and risk having to put in more money in the e-wallet once selling starts. Or what we recommend is whatever this amount is, to put at least 10% if you can. Of course, everyone's comfortability level with this sort of stuff is different, especially with the tedious refund policy that Nusuk has. But in order to, if you wanted to maximize your chances of being able to check out with a custom flight, we would recommend putting in up to like around more than whatever's here, about maybe 10% more, so that if the price goes up, you're still able to go ahead and check out, basically. And what you'll have to do, you see there's an acknowledgement that the prices don't get saved, and you got to go ahead and save your configuration, and you're all set. You've basically configured your package with a custom flight from Dallas. So now, what if you want to add an international trip? So we're going to do a couple of different things. Let's go back to the flight option. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do luxury shipping line 1. Okay. Okay, so this is again luxury shifting line 1 with the American flag for the US. This is the version with flights from, I believe it's DC, New York, or I'm sorry, this is flights from New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles. And then if you want to do a custom flight, you would choose this one, the 2 luxury shifting line 1. So let's go ahead and start the configuration process. Do I have an empty cart? Yes, I do. Okay. And again, I'm not going too much into details because I'm assuming everyone here has already configured packages. But just remember, with the shifting ones, you've got 3 to select from. And again, I'm not going to do additional services, but you can go ahead and add a wheelchair if you need to, and your adahi, or your sacrifice, or your qurbani, terminology you want to use. Now, what you'll notice here is the flight from Dallas that we had selected with the 8th to the 20th, right? There is something with the system in Nusuk. To be honest, the technological wording around it is not my specialty, but basically up to 15-20 minutes after you use Musafer, it'll still show the flight in your options over here, even if you've gone ahead and emptied it from your cart. So we're going to disregard this. This doesn't even match our package because we're looking at a shifting package, which should start on the 7th and end on the 24th, right? So let's go ahead and go and search for a new flight. And now this time I'm going to do 2 things. So we're actually going to discuss what you would do for an international option. But before I do an international option, I'm going to show you what I meant about dates. So say, for example, you live in Dallas, and this is a Medina first package as well. So you're going to land in Medina, and then from Jeddah to Dallas. And you're leaving, we're going to leave on the 6th, or this time let's try the 5th, right? Because we want to get there by the 7th. And then instead of leaving on the 24th, you want to extend your trip, you want to leave on the 27th. What happens? Okay, so what you'll see over here, right, is that exit alert has been set to June 20th till June 24th, which is basically the last day of your package. And because we're searching for flights up to the 27th, it is showing this alert that this flight is not allowed, because basically it's not going to let you choose a flight that goes past the last day of your booking. So this was a new update from Nusuk. Before you were able to do this, but it's been changed, and I've been told that this is going to be the case. It's not going to change back. So 24th, which is the last day of your package, is the last day you can leave the country, or the last day you can book a flight via, um, Musafer. Okay, so now what you'll be able to see is, once I change the date back to the 24th, which is the last day, you can go ahead and see flights. Now look over here. This one, no alert. This one, showing an alert. What is the difference? I'll tell you the difference right now. We selected June 5th as our departure, and the earliest we can get to Medina is the 7th. In this one, you've got a long layover in Istanbul, so you're arriving on the 7th at 1 a.m. basically. So it's allowing you to do it. This one, short layover, you're arriving, what is this, like 4, I'm not great with military time, but I think 4 p.m. on the 6th, 1 day plus 1, so from the 5th to the 6th. You're arriving too early, it won't let you choose this flight. So now you could choose this flight and arrive at 1 a.m. Just keep in mind, your room will not be ready until 6, 7 p.m. that evening. You could go ahead and keep your luggage at the hotel and go do something else with your time that you'd like to do. But that's a disclaimer we want to make sure you're aware of. So this was we were doing with Dallas, but what if you want to do an international city, right? So now you've got a couple of options. I know that there's two main scenarios: people who want to do vacations and people who are parents who have to drop their kids off to a different location, right? You could still do what we were telling people to do before, which is choosing a international, doing the international trip from the US to their home country of, say, Jordan or Pakistan by themselves outside of Nusuk, and then just doing a round trip in here with Nusuk. So, for example, say you're trying to go to Jordan, you'll buy like from Dallas to Jordan round trip on your own outside of Nusuk, and then over here, Amman is the main airport. You would just do Amman to Medina and then Jeddah back to Amman, right? That's one option you have available to you. The other option you have available to you, right, is you can go ahead and add an additional flight. So add custom flights and basically do everything as you need to. So say, for example, you're not a parent, you just want to go on vacation. So you want to do Dallas to Medina, and then Jeddah to Amman, and then Amman back to Dallas, right? Now, the reason why we wouldn't suggest this and we would suggest instead just doing it on your own is because of the fact that, with the pricing unpredictability and stuff, this becomes complicated. So say you do Amman and say you leave the 24th and you want to spend a week with the family and then you go back. So this is how it would look, right? So you're going from your city in New York to straight to Saudi, and then on the way back you're making that layover, and that would be one option. Okay, so there's no flights matching the data. I think again the easiest thing to do will just be doing what we were saying, which is do Amman to Medina and Jeddah to Amman, and then do your international flight on your own outside of Musafer. Ooh, and one of the things I forgot to consider, right, that I've mentioned before, but I forgot to consider over here, is that the way the time zone, Amman is only like a 2 hour flight from Medina, so we got to keep it the same date, the 7th. And for those brothers and sisters who are traveling from these countries, what I would really recommend is the more you can just go ahead and use a Saudi-based airline provider, um, the easier it'll be for you in terms of immigration and all that. So if there's a decent price flight for Saudi Airlines, I would go ahead and recommend taking that over any of the other options. So, yep, you see there's one for 2000 real. That's perfect. Wow, Jordan Airlines is double the price. Okay. So, I don't know, non-stop flights? Ah, okay, there's no non-stop flights. That's what it is. So you may want to take a look at that too. Maybe you'll pay more and go direct, or you can do it with a stop. But this would be one example, right? And you get there at on the 8th, or I'm sure there'll be other options that allow you to get there on the 7th. I'm not going to go into it too much over here, but now you kind of have an idea of how this could work, right? The final scenario I would like to go through, since we've got people who are joining us from these parts of the world, what would we do if we had, say, Tokyo, right? Because your flights look even a little bit more different. This will be the last one I run, inshallah, for tonight. And then what we can go ahead and do is, if you have any questions, you can ask in the Q&A. I'll try to go ahead and answer them. And it looks like with the layovers, you're also dealing with a time difference. So I would again go ahead and recommend leaving on the 6th so that you're arriving by the 7th. That would be the only thing for our brothers and sisters coming from uh, Tokyo or Australia, any of the countries that are east of Saudi Arabia. So I think that goes ahead and goes over all the different considerations we now have with Musafer in terms of custom flights. Hopefully, inshallah, this video was beneficial to you. I will go ahead and post it up on YouTube. Just bear with me, brothers and sisters, while I figure out how to go ahead and make sure I blur out um, my brother's information. This account is actually made in his name. And then at the same time, I know one of the biggest concerns people have is, when is sales going to start? Inshallah, I'll try to hop into a brief office hours in 10-15 minutes to answer some of those questions. But generally speaking, we still don't have an exact time. We know it's definitely not within the next 24 hours. because the ministry's made it clear to all the service providers they will be given at least a 24-hour heads up. But we're nowhere close to that announcement, in terms of, even the next 48 hours. I think we're pretty can confidently say that there's no selling happening in the next 48 hours. As far as when, we expect it to be soon. As you can see, a lot of the features that were giving trouble beforehand are starting to work better, or are starting to work. So inshallah, these are all signs that hopefully selling will start soon. If you're already configured and ready to go, good, alhamdulillah. If your e-wallet's all topped up, you're all in great shape, you can go ahead and just leave everything configured, and inshallah focus on your Ramadan ibadah. Ramadan Mubarak to everyone as well. And then inshallah, as soon as we get updates, we will keep you in the loop. As you know, at this point, anything new that comes, I make sure to go ahead and try to hop on a call with you guys right away about it. So as far as questions, the first question is about sales, and so hopefully, inshallah, we'll go ahead and have that update for you guys soon. And it looks like there were no additional questions as far as the actual multi-city option goes. So what I'm going to do right now is hit pause on the share. And I'm going to share real quick our contact info one more time in case we've got any new faces here who would find this information beneficial. So give me one moment here. So there we go on the screen there. That is the Al-Fajr office information. Inshallah, that will be posted, this is posted everywhere as well. Continue to follow us on WhatsApp, inshallah, and we'll continue to keep you updated on all the new information out of the kingdom. And yeah, we're pretty much set with this. I hope this was beneficial. I know it wasn't at a very convenient time. I just wanted to make sure I get it recorded and put up so that regardless of time frame, you're able to go ahead and take advantage of this information as soon as possible. And if you have no more questions, oh, looks like one just came in. In terms of oversubscription, brother, just give me 1 second. I'm going to go ahead and stop this recording, so that as